All right, good morning, everybody. There we go. Sometimes we have technical difficulties. Ain't nothing we can do about that. Baby, you look pretty good. Good
Yeah,
morning.
thank you.
Good
Hi.
morning. All right, the
Bad
sun.
hair day, everybody. We went swimming yesterday, so I'm wearing the wet and wavy today.
Girl, I like it wet and wavy. Anyway, good morning. Okay, we got a hot topic for you guys today. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
This one is called fake advertisement. All right. Why do people change after you get into relationship with them? Text, tweet, get some people on. You know, a lot of people are dealing with this right here. Fake advertisement. They advertised that they were one way, and as soon as you got into a relationship with them, it's like Jack in the Box. Y'all remember that? And now you don't know what you got on your hands, right? Okay, so we're going to give you five, just simple five today, five different tips or five different areas why people change after you get into relationship with them, all right? Five different ones. But before we begin to do that, we want to thank everybody who's tuning in live right now. We also want to say thank you to all the different people all over the world, from Africa, Zambia, and Australia, the UK, and I mean just everywhere people are tuning in. We just want to show our gratitude and gratefulness because, again, we don't want to take anything for granted.
Right.
We just share, many things that we've learned through our relationship journey with you guys so that you don't have to make some of the mistakes that we did. That's the purpose. Number two, I also want to ask you guys, yesterday I did a video on discouragement. A lot of people are dealing with this. Oh, thank you, baby.
If you have not watched that video, go and watch that video. That was a powerful video that he did yesterday.
Yeah, well, thank you, baby.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so what I want you guys to do is make sure to go back and watch the video from yesterday on dealing with discouragement. I gave you some tips and some things to really help you get out of depression, because what happens is if you're in discouragement too long, it's going to eventually transform into depression. Okay, so make sure that you look at that video from yesterday. All right, let's go ahead and get started for time's sake. All right, number one, and again, for those who's tuning in, we're talking about false advertisement. Why do people change after you get into relationship with them? Yeah, ain't that something?
Why do people change?
Yeah, the mother changed on me. All right, number one, here we go. Take notes, take notes, take notes. Number one, hear this. This is good. Acting is a hard job and definitely something you can't keep doing for 20 or 30 years. They figure out what was required to be with you and they adapted accordingly until they got you. Oh boy. So they never truly revealed who they were in the first place. They no longer have to pretend to be what you want them to be, and they return to their natural self or authentic self, whatever that may be. So in other words, a lot of times when people are in relationships, they just trying to figure out, okay, what does he or she want? You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
And so what happens is they just become adaptable until they got you.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You want to tell them about our experience with this? You want to tell them about it?
Hey, I was always authentic. Let me tell you something. I let all my guards down. I let him see me. I let him see me be greedy, because when we went on our first date, we had known each other a long time, but we had never been on a date. And so we were somewhere, I can't remember. I think we were at a taco place, some type of Mexican place, and he didn't know I was greedy. He didn't know I was a food lover.
Oh God! Woo!
And so I was eating, and he was like, "Wow."
Listen, y'all.
Wow.
This woman cleared that plate quick.
Yeah.
I thought I was eating with three men.
He didn't know I could put it down.
And when we talked about it, when we talked about that, what did you tell me?
I said you have to let people see who see you for who you really are, your true self, because they're gonna see it eventually. They're gonna see you're crazy. They're gonna see your flaws. They're gonna see everything about you.
Yep.
So I always say, now you don't want to share too much. Now let me just be clear. Let me just be clear. You don't want to be too exposed. You want to have some level of discretion about yourself. I know some couples have this thing about where you can't see me in the bathroom, using the restroom, or I don't ever want to, pass gas around my spouse. And, those kind of things I understand. I
Yeah.
think you should keep those things private.
That's right. Hey, but here's what we're saying. Don't be a nibbler if you're a gobbler.
Right,
You understand?
right. Don't, yeah.
Oh, just one little bite.
I'm just going to order a salad.
Yeah. And then later on, you just clearing up the table.
You know you can put that food down, girl. So let me tell you something. Let them know you love 4 chicken wings. You want extra mashed potatoes. You want extra green beans. Let them see that side of you because they're going to see it eventually.
Oh, Lord, I tell you, I was shocked. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
she was eating more than me.
Yeah.
But again, I had to appreciate it
Right.
because she just didn't want to start off the relationship pretending.
Right. But I think even with the best of intentions, even with our best of intentions, the longer we are around someone, the more comfortable we are around that person, the more we are prone to just let our guards down, and we are typically in our own natural way. So I don't think that, it's strange for you to see different flaws or see different things that you may have missed in the early dating phase of the relationship. And you're like, wow, who is this person? But it shouldn't be, let me just be clear, it shouldn't be. It's okay to have a makeover change. When you go to Mac and you get your face made up. But if you see full cosmetic surgery where there's reconstruction in the relationship, where the whole face of that relationship is different, oh, that's kind of bad. You don't want a full reconstruction of a relationship. It should be a makeover. Oh, well, it's just a little makeover change.
And let me give it to you from another point of view. You want to find somebody who's tired of games.
Right.
Because what happens is when you find a person who is tired of games, you're going to get more authentic material because they do not want to play any games. They just want to be with somebody who wants to be with them and vice versa. So for us, we have been through too much in past relationships and hurts to sit there and try to pretend and audition. That's a good way of saying it. Audition for a role with you. No, I just want you to see who I am. I want to be comfortable in my own skin because I know who I am and I've been through too much. Some of you guys, you need to write that down. You've been through too much to fake the funk. Get what I'm saying? So therefore, you want to, when two people who they just want to be who they are. And they want to be centered. I don't want to have to transform and change and do all these different things to be in connection with you. I just want to be who I am. And either you like the package or you don't. And here's the reason why that's important. A lot of times people are connecting themselves with unstable. You get what I'm saying? Adjustable people. Now, I understand, if you get into your car, your luxury car, and they got all these buttons to adjust to your settings, that's cool for a car. But you don't want to be in a relationship with a person who's adjustable and they adjust their settings when they're around you and then they go back to their natural state when they're not. You don't want that. Get what I'm saying?
That's good.
Let's get to number 2. Ladies, this is more for you, even though this could be for gents as well. You're too high maintenance. You're just too high maintenance. Here's what that means. Your partner didn't change. You're the one who changed and you're demanding a whole lot more every time. It's just more and more and more. So the person feels like they're on a perpetual cycle of just having to keep up with your demands just to stay in relationship with you. And then after a while, they change. They change because they're tired of having to do all these different hoops and loops to be in relationship with you.
Well, I think also sometimes, and I've heard this before, and you all have probably heard this before, where, we women, they go into relationships thinking that they will change their partner, whereas men go in relationships thinking that their partner will never change. She's going to stay the same. She's going to look the same. She's always going to have the same goals. But one of the things I realize is I don't have the same needs that I had at 25 that I have now at
Ain't that true?
in my 40-somethings.
Yeah.
In my 40-somethings.
No,
I don't have the same needs.
You're 27.
Okay, I'm 27. But anyway, I don't have the same needs. I don't have the same desires.
Right.
When you're 25, you may marry for love, but when you're 40, you want stability, you want commitment. You may even want a man with a little bit more money who's established. So I think that it's very selfish of us to think that somebody will not change to some extent. because the older we get, things change.
Hold on. We're going to get to that in a little bit more. But I want you to talk to the women who they keep saying, oh, you know, he changing, but it's really not him. It's her because she's becoming, I need some more red bottoms. I need some more this and that. And so the man feels like, you know what, I can't keep up. So what would you tell women who's they're not seeing that they're the one who's changing?
Well, I think that for a lot of times, if you're going to have to help somebody unpack their baggage. All of us come with baggage. All of us come with flaws. All of us come with strengths too. We have our strengths and we have our talents, but we all have our baggage. And if you're not married before the age of 30, you're going to get somebody with some baggage. You're going to get someone with something that they're dealing with. So I think that you have to know that man and what his needs are and how he feels about giving to you and what he's willing to do in the relationship. But I think a lot of times we ignore that and we expect those things from him later on, but that's just not the person he is.
Right.
You can't, in other words, you cannot change anyone. The only thing that you can do is change how you deal with them.
Wow.
You can't change anyone. The only thing that we can do is change how we deal with people. So if you're putting demands on this man to be something he's not, you're going to continually be frustrated. You're going to continually rob yourself of your peace of mind. Yeah. It's just going to be an ongoing cycle.
Teresa, thank you for sharing the video. And good morning to everybody. Good morning, Angela.
Thank you. All right.
Here's the thing. Again, ladies, sometimes you're the one who's adaptable.
Yeah.
Men get a lot of blame. I'm just being honest. Men get so much blame for almost every failed relationship. And many times it's not him, it's the woman, because she's the one who doesn't know what she wants. And so she just know, I want to be in relationship. I want to be in relationship. But then when you get in one, you start demanding more. You start adjusting too quickly. And men are fixers. That's what we do. We just try to fix a problem. But when you come with too many of those things and you keep demanding more and more and more, now he's going to change. He's going to stop being invested in the relationship because he's like, man, this is a bottomless hole. And then he gets tired because it's not him, it's you who doesn't know what you want. You know, let me say it like this. I think this is a better way of saying it. You know you want a relationship, but you don't know what you want out of the relationship.
Well, that's where you have to have that clarity
before you get into
that
one.
relationship.
Exactly.
But we as women, we go through those changes.
Yeah, I understand that.
We might be mad at you all about not taking the trash out or not putting the toilet seat down, but really it's a bigger issue we probably mad about. We're just making it about the toilet seat. You didn't take the garbage out, but really we're mad about something that we really haven't dealt with yet.
And
I think that's a lot of times the bigger issue, the bigger elephant in the room is not really what we're harping on.
Right.
It's something deeper. And until we identify what that is, we're going to continue nagging you about these small things.
And here's
really a lot of times it's our own discontentment with where we are in our own lives.
Right. There we go. And that's what I was going to say. Know you before you want to know somebody else.
Definitely.
Know you. I'm telling you, one of the biggest destroyers of relationship is false expectations. Please write that down. False expectation. We talking about fake, false advertisement. Let's talk about your false expectations. What you want out of the relationship and what you're demanding, like you said, you're demanding it from a person who can't apply it. And don't ever forget, we all have to take responsibility for this.
Right.
You can always say no to the relationship.
Right.
But why don't we? Because we just need to be with somebody. And even if the person is not qualified to meet our needs, we're going to try to make it happen. No. Know what you want out of that relationship before you get into one. Right. And therefore, if the person does not meet those qualifications, get your scissors. Okay? Here we go. Let's get to another one.
But sometimes I think that it's difficult to ask someone you need to change on my terms.
Right.
I think that it can't be they change on your terms or your preferences. It has to be this is who they are And you have to ask yourself,
Yeah.
can I deal with who they are?
Yes.
Can I accept who their true self is?
Once they reveal it.
Once they reveal it, you have to ask yourself, can I accept this
Yep.
about this person, or do I need to make other decisions?
Which leads to number 3.
Yeah.
Here's number 3. Write this one down. Big one. The relationship itself is boring, and one of the partners wants excitement and stability. A lot of times, why do people change? Because they're bored. You guys keep doing the same things over and over again, and so they want, they want some spontaneity. Yeah. And so, like with us, if time permits, when we done with our responsibilities, we may jump in a car and just be somewhere. Well, I don't know where, but we're going to be somewhere. Right. Sometimes, you know what? We'll just go for an evening drive. We ain't got nothing to do. We ain't had no destination. We just hop in the car and turn on some good old music, some jazz music or something, and just chill. Just do something to keep the flames going, because what happens is both parties tend to get too comfortable, and at that point, the relationship is in jeopardy because you're taking the person for granted that, they're going to be there, I'm going to be there. Right. And so you're sitting around the house all the time. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to go nowhere. And all of a sudden, the other person, again, don't ever forget, at some point, your natural tendencies and the person's natural tendencies is going to kick in. And so what happens is that it just takes over and boom. So it's great if both of you guys are authentic from day one.
What do you think? I always wondered, and I don't know about you all out there, if you all have wondered if women typically change more than men do.
Oh, absolutely. Ooh-wee.
What do you guys think out there? Do you all feel like the men change?
Who changed more?
Less, and the women change the most in the relationship?
While we're waiting on y'all's comment, I'm gonna answer that one. I really truly think that women change more. Here's a circumstance that we was dealing with. There's a couple where, she wanted to be with somebody and she was really, I just need somebody and I want to have sex and this and that. Okay, so now you get into a relationship with a guy who's highly sexual. That's cool. No problem, right? But then you fail to realize that's about all he can supply to the relationship. So now she wants, he needs to be doing this. He needs to be a dishwasher. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't change. He just, but you wanted somebody who didn't change. Well, what did you want the man for? You get what I'm saying? All right. So Renee said, yep, women change.
Women. Kathy says women.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's because we're so complex emotionally. I always...
Edna said women. Stephanie said women.
I always wonder, because we deal with so much. We deal with... Especially the older we get, I don't know about you ladies, but those hormonal imbalances causes me to have all kinds of changes.
Daryl said, women.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm just but you guys go through those changes too.
Yeah.
They go through some changes too. They have their midlife crisis. We have our female crisis. But I just really believe that, I don't know if it's because we have so much that we have to be concerned with in the home. Mm-hmm. We have so many different roles that we have to play in the home because we're nurturers by nature. And so we're always trying to give. And so sometimes
that's a good point.
We don't know how to communicate our needs to our spouse or our partner in a way that they can receive it.
Yeah, that's true. And so therefore, we just expecting the same routine.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about men sometimes. Ladies, again, sometimes it ain't the men who's changing, it's you. Because while you're going through all these changes, as we can see from the responses, women are the ones who change a lot of times in a relationship. Right. So the man, with men, we're fixers. Okay. And so the same way that we fixed it the last time, and it worked, we're going to think, hey, I just keep doing this same thing. And meanwhile, she's getting frustrated. Well, last time she was mad, I brought her flowers and it worked. So now he bringing flowers again. And you're like, do I look like a freaking garden? You understand what I'm saying? But it worked the last time. But it ain't going to work this time. Why? Because you don't want flowers. You want something else. So men are not as adjustable quickly on the emotional level. Please understand that.
That's so true.
On the emotional level,
That's
men
so
are
true.
not as adjustable as women. And the problem is that women are highly adjustable and highly flexible and highly movable on the emotional level. We
Right.
don't got it like that. Okay. Teresa has said a comment I want to say about that one. She said that also women are looking for better, 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 better. And meanwhile, he's comfortable in stability and just, hey,
Okay,
hey.
Teresa says, yes, look at me. Am I still beautiful? Do I still have it? Do I still look 25? Yeah, yeah. But and I agree with you. That's so good, Teresa. It's so true. We all want to keep our youthful look, but it's not. It definitely doesn't happen. Someone else says, I think everyone changes with age, and I really do. And that's
Hold
what.
on, don't talk about that one yet. We
Okay.
got something on that one, okay?
Okay. All
Hold on.
right.
Matter of fact, let's get to it. Let's move on to the next one because this one is going to address that. Here we go. Number 4, write this one down. We only have 5 today, so we're almost finished, okay? Number 4 is Aurora Clausen from Quora.com, Quora.com, because I know some of you guys want to see it. But Aurora Clausen from Aurora.com, here's what she said. She said, it is our nature to change and grow. Did you hear that? It is in our nature. God built us to change and grow. Look at nature itself. It always changes. It's a natural process. But let me keep reading her comment. As we experience anything, we naturally undergo a change. We are never the same after any experience we have. Well, on one level of our being, there is another level, but that has nothing to do with this question. In other words, the point is you're going to change. Expect it.
Right.
Here's something that I heard Dr. Miles Monroe say. There's 2 inevitable situations while you're living on earth. Of course, you had the old saying, oh, you have death and taxes. Okay, that's cool, death and taxes. Let me give you something else to think about. There's 2 things that happen on a daily basis, and either you're going to get frustrated with it or you're going to adapt to it. And here's the 2: time and change. Write that down. Time and change. As we're talking right now, there are minutes ticking away, not just on your clock that you may have on your wrist called a watch, but also in your life. Every day you wake up, you're getting older. Every day you wake up, you're aging. And I don't care how we try to make ourselves younger. We can eat the most healthy foods and all. You can be a vegetarian. You can be all these different things. But I still see that every person who was a vegetarian still ended up dying on this planet. Everybody is going to change. It is inevitable.
It is inevitable.
Now, let me be clear, because I don't want no vegetarian to say, hey, you trying to, no, because I'm trying to adapt and eat more vegetables and fruits myself. But I do understand, regardless of all of that, on an emotional level, everybody is going to change. So instead of me fighting against the fact that Nancy's going to change, I understand that she's going to change.
And you're going to change.
Girl, that's what I'm about to say. And so am I.
Right.
So the best way to get around that is not to try to hide the changes, but to go and talk about the changes that's going on within me and the changes that's going on with her, so we can strategically plan how to deal with each other as the changes are occurring.
Right.
One of the biggest problems, ladies, and I gotta be honest with y'all, that not you good at this. That's why I love this girl. But let me tell you what she does so well that many women do not do, and men complain about it. Not to you, because you're gonna fuss at them, but men complain about this all the time. You go through these emotional highs and lows and all these different changes. You communicate this to your girlfriends or to your siblings or your mama or whoever, but you don't tell him. Why? Because you know that you must communicate this to your friends and everybody else for them to understand you, but you are under the assumption, well, he should know. He should know.
He should be a mind reader.
Yeah, how can the man know if you don't open your mouth? Why is it okay for everybody else to know what you're thinking except for him? And now he's frustrated because you tripping and he don't know what's going on.
Right.
No, do like she does. We go and talk about these things. We really do have plenty of open conversations when we're not feeling happy, when we're not, when we just, and when circumstances.
But typically, women are more prone to, it depends on how you grew up. Some women are not as expressive. I'm expressive.
Yeah.
I tell what I'm feeling, but I think it also depends on our comfortability of expressing that with you all. Some men, they just do not want to hear it.
Yeah, that is
They
true.
really don't want. They don't create that emotional space for
That is true.
for their partner to be open, to be authentic, to be vulnerable. Some men do not know how to allow their partner to be
That is
vulnerable.
so true. Yeah,
because they don't even know how to
that's
be
true.
vulnerable with themselves. One of the things that
Yeah, that's true.
That one?
Yeah,
I
no,
just want to add
come on,
something.
talk to it. Yeah, that's so true.
I
That's
want to
true.
read something to you guys that I
That's
found on World Economic Forum, and it'll kind of help you understand why we are the way we are, ladies. But it says women, and this is a peer-reviewed article, and it says women have more active brains than men according to science.
Yeah.
And it says women's brains are significantly more active in many more regions than men's, according to new research. The findings could help explain why women are more vulnerable to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and eating disorders. And I thought that was really interesting because sometimes, you guys want to know why we're so crazy. You all say women are crazy, women are crazy. No, we're just very complex creatures.
Yeah.
And so I think that for us, sometimes it's difficult for me to explain certain things because you guys really don't. Some of you men are not in touch with their emotions.
Nope.
As women are.
Emotionally numb.
They're emotionally numb.
Yep.
And that's because of how men grew up, where they were told, you need to be strong, you need to be a man, you don't be a punk, you can't share your emotions and things like that. So I think that you all have not really learned healthy ways to allow yourself to be vulnerable and emotionally vulnerable.
That's right. Absolutely true.
But women who are with partners who have issues with their partner not being, opening up, it's because maybe you haven't given her that emotional space to be open with you.
Yep. Let me say this to men. One of the things I never want her to do is to quench her emotions with me.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? Because her emotions is just as valuable as everything else that she offers in this relationship, and she is so on point on this. Guys, we're the guilty party on this part, where a lot of women want to communicate this, and I read several feeds that said that, and it's true, where I tried to share my feelings with him and he simply did not care.
Yeah.
And I want to say, reiterate a point that she said, one of the reasons why is because we was trained from little boys, if you was raised by males, little boys were taught, man, get up and hey, stop all that whining, man. Hey, what you crying for? Knock that off, knock that off. And so we were basically told to turn off our emotions whenever we were hurting. That's how we were trained. So now you get into a relationship with an emotionally numb man, and here you come with all these emotions and feelings and want to talk, and he doesn't have any clue what's going on, because again, men are fixers. We just tell me what the problem is, let me help you fix it, and let's move on and let's have some fun.
Which is one of the reasons why men are committing suicide at exponential rates more than women.
Yes.
If you read the statistics, men are committing suicide way more than women are.
Yeah.
And I really believe it's because men have not been taught
how
to express themselves emotionally.
But let me say this though.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women don't know this. He's not emotionally numb. He's emotionally frustrated because he has tons of emotions that he don't know how to get out. Right. And here you come with a bunch of emotions that you want to get out but can't get it to him. So now he knows there's all these problems going on. And so here's what happened with men. Hear me? He emotionally implodes, and then you see the results because he explodes. Hear me good. He implodes, and then he explodes. That's why you have so many angry men.
Yeah.
They are pressure cooker of problems. They know that you're having problems, but they don't know how to deal with it, so they just turn you off because guess what? They learned how to turn their own stuff off.
Right.
Why do you think he's going to be open to everything that you're saying about emotions when he has turned off his own? He cannot offer in a relationship something that he can't even offer to himself.
And really, yeah, and most of the time what most men I've seen them do is they'll try to fix it by taking care of a financial means.
Yes,
or
external,
but they don't know how to sometimes take care of the emotional needs that
because they're not in touch. And the unfortunate thing, we have been trained as men to not be emotional from little boys on. Do you get what I'm saying?
You want to take any questions?
Well, let me finish this last one. I know we way past time. Here's number five. Here it is. And this is the last one for today. Number 5 says, there are areas in our lives, this is deep for all men and women. There are areas in our lives that are unknown to them, but fully visible to everyone else.
Yeah.
Once you bring it up, they get defensive and start attacking you. So why do they change in the relationship? Because as you begin to spend more time with them, you guys are living together, whatever, now you're starting to see certain things that the honeymoon phase is over, and now the real you stand up. And when they do, you start saying, honey, but da-da-da. And they, no, hold on, that ain't me, that's you. See, that's you. Or she does the same thing. Don't be talking to me about that. That ain't, no. What happened is that part of the real you is your unrecognized or unwilling to deal with baggage from past issues and past hurts. And when this person is trying to help you because they're bringing it up, that's a sore spot for you, because for you, you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to have anybody touching on it either. You know it's there, or sometimes you don't, because you built a wall around it and you're trying to protect it. You can have this part of me, but you can't have all of me, because this part of me, I don't want nobody touching, including myself. So let's just pretend it doesn't exist and let's move on. But when you're in a relationship with a person who cares about you and they want all of you, of course, that, you know, it's kind of like when you, I remember seeing a scary movie and they was taking this, they hired a babysitter. And they was walking the babysitter around the house and everything else. And then they told the babysitter, don't touch this door. Don't go in this room. Well, what door do you think the babysitter want to look into? I'm going to be in your house all day long while you ain't here. I want to know what's behind that door. And of course, you know how the movie goes. What did they do? They went inside the door and it was something, you know, evil in there and da-da-da. Well, it's the same with people. Don't touch this door. No, no. And you get defensive over a blocked area. And as soon as that person open it, there's evil on the inside. Not because you're evil. Evil may have been done to you and you just don't want to touch it. And so you're defensive and you don't want to fool with nobody. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I just think that, I don't know, I think that compatibility, you know, it takes time to prove itself. I really do believe that compatibility takes time to prove itself. And sometimes, you know, by the time you realize you're not compatible, you're fully
already engaged.
You're fully engaged in that relationship. You have kids together. You're married. You have some history, which makes it harder to break that relationship off. And so I think that's why you have to have a very slow progression of how you allow yourself to get into a committed relationship. How soon you allow that intimacy to get into the relationship. Personal intimacy. So
Denise said, she said, what if the man have no conscience at all about anything? Let me ask you this. Here's what I would say. If you're married, I can't tell you this answer. So if you're married, don't say Pat and Nancy said. No, we ain't saying nothing. Okay. But if you're in the dating phase, you can't exit out. But if this person is completely unconscious, he's just not aware of emotions and things like that, then sometimes you don't need to be the one who says it to him. Okay?
That's good.
I'm just being honest. Sometimes you're going to have to find somebody else who can communicate it to him and help reveal it to him. Because sometimes to you, and hear me good, ladies, to a man, when the woman keeps going over the same old thing, and here's what it sounds like to a man. And so he just tunes you out because he's not realizing that you may have a valid point. To him, it just sounds like gobbledygook. Well, here she goes again. So what you might have to do is ask for help from somebody else who he communicates with or talks with. Or number two, watch this, ask God to reveal it. Ask God to reveal it. Lord, can you help this person? And then what you do is you start being quiet.
That's good.
And then when he asks, why are you being quiet? Then you can tell him, well, I'm being quiet because every time I try to communicate XYZ to you, you don't want to hear it.
But sometimes when we give you all that silent treatment, that makes you all go into a whole...
Yeah, we get mad. But here's the reason why it helps, though.
You all hate the silent treatment.
Well, yeah, but here's what it does. It wakes a person up to say, okay, let me find out what's wrong.
So quiet doesn't mean that you stop talking, you stop interacting. I think that you just get a little quiet about an issue that you know is not ready to be resolved.
Quiet politeness is what I would call it.
Exactly.
You're still polite, but you're quiet. And so the person knows something is wrong. And so what's wrong with you? Well, honey, every time I try to tell you what's wrong, you made it very clear you don't want to hear me. So I don't want to keep beating, making you feel like I'm just trying to nag you all the time. So I just choose not to say anything. So you can be polite in how you're expressing it. Because a lot of times when you give the silent treatment and nothing. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? Okay. See, that's not the truth. It is something. So be honest, be integral with your communication. Honey, there is something. You remember when I tried to tell you XYZ, you made it very clear you didn't want to hear me. So I just, I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to nag you. I love you. I don't want to nag you. So therefore, guess what? I just decide I'm going to find another way to get my needs met. What happens in a man's heart? Now, this may not happen for every man, but I'm saying in a man's heart, your kindness in how you dealt with that will prick his heart. And that's when he starts saying, you know what, a day or two later, oh, babe, what was that you were saying? See, because what happened was you didn't have an attitude about it, but he knew he felt guilty because he's like, you know what, she was right. She's trying to tell me and I ain't listening to her. So there's wise ways. This is what I call a woman having wisdom. She's asking God for wisdom on how to deal with this situation. Most women get advice from each other, and it's not that good because the way they're getting advice is very against the way a man will hear what your needs are. Do you hear what I'm saying? Especially when you know he's an emotionally numb person. So how do you get him? Men like to fix things. So when he figures out, you know what, this does need to be fixed. She is unhappy. Babe, I remember you said this and that. So what can I do to help? Boom, there you go.
But the goal should never be, and this is where I think made our relationship dynamics a lot healthier, a lot happier, a lot more peaceful. The goal should never be that I need to change this person.
Right.
The goal should be always, as you begin to go on a journey, even in a relationship, you may have to take a self journey with just yourself where you just begin working on yourself. Allow that man to have some time where he works on himself.
Yep.
And don't smother that process. Don't get insecure and think something's going on funny and he's doing something secretive.
Right.
But give that man a time to work on himself. But also, we need to also, ladies, have some time to work on our own selves. Because when you have two people who have individually worked on themselves come back together, you have a powerful relationship.
Yep.
Much stronger, much healthier. You bring more to the relationship when you have worked on your own self, even in the midst of the relationship. And I'm not talking about you leave the relationship, you go on a fast from the relationship and they don't see you and you don't see them. I'm just saying, get the attention away from that person and just say, you know what do I need to do for me? Mm-hmm. What do I need to do for me? What do I need to do to work on myself individually? Because I can't change this person.
There's something else. There's a great guy. He has tons of videos and have helped many relationships around the world. His name is Jimmy Evans. Pretty much I watched several of his videos during the week on YouTube myself. Great advice. And here's something that he said as a man. He said one of the things that was causing damage to his relationship with his wife is the fact that he was demanding from her something that he should have been demanding from God. Many times we're also requiring people to feel a certain need that they never in a human person, no human person can feel. There's certain areas that God personally reserved for himself only so he can be in a relationship with you. And so therefore, if you take that need to another human being, you're going to always be frustrated because certain things are for a partner in a relationship and
Yes.
certain things are
For
just for your
you.
vertical relationship with God.
Yes,
And
sir.
you got to separate the two. So I don't put vertical needs on my horizontal relationship.
Oh, that's good.
Okay? I really don't, because I know we are limited in our capacity to fulfill. No matter how much you
Very
want to, you're limited in your capacity to fulfill another person's needs because of your human nature.
And especially a void.
A void, exactly.
The only void that can be filled in your heart is by you. Never ever look for another human being to fill a void
Yep.
within yourself but you.
And let me leave you with this. Why is that important? Because here's what's the biggest, God, I'm going to leave you guys with this one. I'm going to continuously say this over and over and over again until some of you guys get this simple information, this simple equation about relationships. Once this click in your head, you're going to be a relationship guru overnight. Hear this equation very carefully. There are only two types of people in a relationship. Please hear me. There are only two. You have a giver and you have a taker. That's it. Now, how that plays out in relationships, it comes out in 3 different variations. You got to write this down. If you're not taking notes, no wonder people are always in miserable situations over and over and over again. When good advice has been given, take notes. Okay? Here it is again. You only have a giver and a taker. But here's how it plays out in the relationship. You can have 2 takers, which will make each other very miserable because each one is coming to the table seeing what they can get, not what they can give. Very miserable relationship. Always arguing, always frustrated. Okay? Number 2, you have 2 givers in a relationship. 2 givers are happy because notice what we're doing every Sunday. We're doing what? Giving to you guys. Why? Because she gives to me, I give to her. We're finding ways to give to other people because we have done the due diligence on ourselves and we are not coming to the relationship needy.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? We're looking to see where we can give out of our excess.
Right.
Okay? So therefore, I give to her, she gives to me, and now we have more than enough, so we turn on this camera and we try to give to you.
Right.
2 givers. They find places to give to help. Okay? Beautiful situation. But here's the one that's most common, and this is the third, and we'll leave you with this. The most common relationship is not 2 takers and 2 givers. It's 1 taker and 1 is the giver.
That's good.
And you got to know which one you are.
Wow.
So that you'll be aware of what you're attracting.
That's
Sometimes givers are always magnetizing takers.
Yeah.
And you're always coming
That's
away
good.
from the relationship feeling used and worn out and bitter and resentful because you feel like, these people just always trying to use me. But you got to remember, you're the one who's selecting them and saying yes to be in a relationship. Why are you doing that? Get what I'm saying? See, personal responsibility. Here's the other one.
That is so good.
Am I right?
Wow.
The taker is very comfortable with taking from any and everybody because, and hear me good, this is a sneaky one, especially for women. Because you're always saying, I need a man. I need a man. Hear what you're saying. I need a man. I'm tired of being alone. So what is your real intentions? You're here to take something because you need it. You have a need. You're not looking to give. So therefore, you're rushing into relationship because I got a personal need. Fill up my bucket of loneliness. I need something. And you need to be the one to give it to. And there we go. See, it's real subtle.
Wow.
You're not the giver then. You're trying to take something from somebody. And then when they can't match everything that you demand, you say, there ain't no good men out here. No, your selection process is not good. There are plenty of good men, but you're selecting them not based off of a healthy, I'm looking for a qualified candidate who is here to receive my love. You're looking for somebody to fill your thirst for a relationship.
Wow.
And therefore, you are also a taker.
And one of the things that I would say, as much as I love this man right here, as much as I love spending time with him, and as much as I enjoy each other's company. When I get into certain places, ladies, emotionally, mentally, just all types of things going on with me, there's just certain areas of my life he cannot feel.
I just can't.
And I'm just going to be honest with you. No relationship will fill you. No relationship will completely 100% satisfy you. And I think that's where you have to have that understanding before you get in there, that nobody will ever be able to complete you. Nobody will ever be able to just 100% make you happy. It has to be an individual job. There's sometimes when I go into certain states, I need to be with myself. I don't want him to try to fix me. And a lot of times men, they want to fix it. They want to make you happy. They want to put that smile on your face. And so they go out and buy you a dress, or they go, let's go to a movie or something. And that might help temporarily. But sometimes, ladies, we got to go in that secret place with ourselves. We have to go in that inward place with ourselves and deal with us individually, because they can't always give us what we need. And I think I had to realize, and I'm writing a book right now on the pros and cons of marriage. It's basically going to be a self-help guide to help you understand if marriage is right for you. And the reason why I wrote this book, because I really want people to understand what marriage really is, and that yes, it's a beautiful thing, it's a wonderful experience, but there are some areas that you will realize in marriage, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know this was part of marriage.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm just being honest with you.
Yes.
You will not find love if you don't already have within yourself.
And let me throw one caveat on that. It
has to come from you first. They can add to it, but it has to be some level of self-love within yourself to complete you.
Yep.
Because he can't complete me.
And here's the thing.
And that was knowledge for me. I'm sorry.
There's the scripture in the Bible that talks about a threefold cord that's not quickly broken. Here's your threefold cord. She can't complete everything for me. But here's my threefold cord. It's me, her, and God.
Yeah.
Now I can be complete. Because guess what? She didn't make me, God did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't make her, God did. So I can't do everything for her. But that's where God comes in and kicks in. And so this is why when I see her in prayer and she's sitting there by herself with God, I don't try to bother her at all. Why? Because that's her other husband. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it sounds creepy.
Or if I say, I just need some time with self, like men, you guys get a little nervous when we say, I just need some time alone. It's not that we need time alone because we don't like you or you're doing something to aggravate us. Sometimes we just need time alone to regroup, get back centered, because everything that we're doing, we just have to stay centered within ourselves. And if you lose your center, ladies and men, it is very difficult for you to be in a relationship and be happy and to be your authentic self, because you're not centered. So sometimes when we go in our secret closet and you go in your secret closet, sometimes it's not that they're rejecting us or they're trying to leave us, or we get all these crazy thoughts in our head sometimes, but sometimes it's just giving them time to get back centered.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing for men, because ladies, some of y'all be thinking, oh, he rejected me. He's not rejecting you. Here's sometimes, you want to know why men get quiet sometimes and don't talk to you, and they get real irritated out of the norm, but you don't know what's going on either. You know that term menopause? Listen to the word, and I say that's actually for men too. Men on pause. Men have that too. And here's the problem with men, especially, you want to know why men die so quickly? And we were talking about this the other night. Men get stressed out.
Right.
And because he don't want to talk to you about it, here's the reason why sometimes he don't talk to you about it. Because if he tells you what problems he's really dealing with, you're going to ask him 500 questions. Well, why this? Well, why that? And men hate that beyond words, because I don't have an answer for my doggone self. And here you come with 500 more questions. So it's unfruitful for me to share how I feel with you, because instead of me just having a chop it up session with you and back and forth like I can with my buddies, you want to be all emotional. And then you want to, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to? And he's like, oh, I can't deal with that. So he gets real quiet. Sometimes your man, he would just come in, want to plop down, grab a beer, turn on the game, and just leave me alone for a little while.
Yeah.
Well, what's really going on is he's stressed out because there may be a problem that you are not aware of just yet. And as men, we typically will do that. We will get quiet and try to go in our own brain and try to figure things out, not because we're trying to withhold information from you personally, but we just know how you're going to react. And so now he's stressed out. And that will also explain why when you come in with all your stuff, wanting to talk to him, he's like, I can't deal with this right now. I want to hear it. It's not personally rejecting you. It's just that he's dealing with his own demons and his own problems, and more will only collapse him on the inside. And as a result, you will, and I'm telling you a sign to look for and what to pray for. When you start seeing that he's overly agitated, don't look for him to communicate it. Overly agitated will be a sign that something is probably wrong. Right. And don't push him for an answer. Just simply say, baby, it seems like you're a little stressed out today. Let me pray for you. She is masterful at doing that, and I promise you.
You are too, though.
Yeah, but
you are too, though.
And I appreciate that, but I'm saying, but from a man.
But he wasn't always like
that.
No,
I wasn't.
When we first got together, I did not like communicating with him. I did not
tell
him my heart.
Yep.
I said, I do not feel safe sharing with you.
She told me that, and that broke
my heart. Because you always want to fix it. Sometimes I just want you to listen. I don't want you to fix it. I have to fix it.
And that, when she told me that one time, she said, I hate telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
Because you're not a good listener. Right. That's what she told me. And when she told me that, that literally shattered my heart.
He's changed a whole lot.
200%.
Let me tell you, he's earned a PhD in that area.
Because she wasn't mean about it. She just started being quiet. And when I see her quietness, but she was always polite, babe, are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? She never had a bad attitude about it. Yeah. So, but I just knew something was off about her. And as a fixer, I said, okay, I need to fix this. So I asked her, and she didn't say nothing. No, just nothing. That's okay. What she said was, she said, honey, I hate telling you how I feel. I just hate it because you're not a good listener. And that woke me up. And I always went on the pursuit on how can I be a better listener.
And you did it, babe.
But here's how I did it. I started watching when I'm not feeling well, when I'm in a bad emotional space. I started paying attention to how she was treating me and how she was very soft in her approach with me. And I said, oh, that's how you do it. So in essence, I just started implementing exactly what she was doing for me. And then it got better. Right. All right. We're well over time.
Was it Guerrero?
Guerrero.
He said it's all about communication. That's right, Guerrero. That's exactly what it is. But I also want to just caution ladies out there, because I know we have a tendency to do this. We must take time for ourselves, ladies. We're givers, we're nurturers, and we do so much to keep the home stable, and we're taking care of the children. We're doing the entrepreneurial thing. We're doing jobs. We're doing all kind of things. But we must take that time to nurture ourselves. You must have some me time. And I think a lot of times we're selfish about we're not as selfish about taking care of our own needs as we are other people's needs. And so you really want to make time for yourself. Yeah. And I think that's what really helped me as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we really want to thank you for spending your Sunday with an hour with us on this Sunday. We really appreciate your time and your comments and everything else. We will be back next week with another hot topic. But we just want to say thank you. Yes. And, hopefully today's message was helpful to kind of give you, not to just, dismiss that people can change in the relationship unexpectedly and this and that. And let me say one last thing on this. If the person is changing for the worse and you're in a dating phase and you're seeing red signs, red flags, stop ignoring them. You can always choose to stop the relationship at that point or to put up some certain boundaries to give them an opportunity to change. And if they refuse to change, okay, you always have a choice. Right. But what we were trying to do is help you get insight as to what happens in the mind and emotions of each party, so you can understand why they change, okay, including you. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll be back here next week. Please share this video with some people who you know needed today's message. And again, I beg you, please go back and watch yesterday's video that I did on discouragement. I promise you it's going to touch you. It's going to, because I even shared my testimony about what happened to me and how I got very discouraged at some points, but I kept on going anyhow. Please listen to that message. I hope that will bless you as well. All right, baby, thank you.
All right.
All right, happy Sunday, everybody.
Thank you,
Talk to y'all
everybody.
later.
Have a good one.
Nisi said, run. How you funny. Bye.